in Tai Chi class. Today we are going to move on and learn another couple of moves, which you already know, but we're doing them in reverse. So this should be easier for you to do since you already know the movements. One of the nice things about Tai Chi practice is it teaches you how to do things in right-handed and left-handed. So it doesn't leave anybody out. And in doing so, it improves and develops your ambidexterity, ambidexterity. I think that's the word. And some people find it hard to do it in the reverse way. I know when I learned to play, I was a tennis player for years, and I practiced. I'm right-handed, and I practiced playing tennis left-handed, and I was actually better at it because I hadn't developed bad habits. So I was learning from a new point of view, and I was listening to my body instead of um, of using sort of information that I had already processed in some ways not appropriately. So you may find it easier to do it the other way or harder, and it'll be interesting to see. Interesting to get your feedback to see how it works for you. Some people are naturally ambidextrous. I think that's the word. And so, but that's very rare. So we'll see how it goes. All right. And we're going to do another form from the 5 animal frolic. I think we did deer last week. Today, I think we'll do tiger because the two are sort of enemies. And you'll see in the movement the differences between the deer and the tiger. The deer relies on being swift and leaping to get away, and the tiger is a big animal pushing the bushes aside and kind of like uh, charging through the jungle at its prey. So we're going to be doing tiger, and we'll do one of the 5 animals every session. Because I think it's a nice qigong. I love the 5 animal frolic. We'll also do some Yigun Jin, which we've been doing a little bit, and that's the tendon muscle exchange. And it's also known as the bone marrow washing, which builds strength in the tendons, particularly, and makes the muscles hard and firm. So we'll do that, and if we have time. Okay, so let's start with our basic exercises. You know, we always do this series of stretching exercises, which fall into the category of qigong. They're qigong exercises. I do them a little faster than you might do them on your own for the sake of time, because we have a limited amount of time here. So once again, if you have trouble hearing me, let me know. I think I've improved the lighting since the last time. So I'm using lighting in front rather than from the sides. It seems better from here anyway. So let's start. Let's start with some just open and close. Breathing in and out, simulating the lungs. The movement, lungs. Keep putting our hands on our lap and we're coming up, breathing in and pulling in. You should feel a gentle pulling and pushing against resistance. And as you expand or stretch, they're both the same movements, you'll be breathing in. And as you collapse or relax, those are the same, you'll be slowly breathing out. it's good to breathe through your nose, and your mouth should be closed but relaxed. And if you really want to push the envelope, you might touch your tip of your tongue to the roof of your mouth. There's a pressure point there that is, I think, tied into the lungs, which will complement this exercise, which involves, of course, mostly breathing and, of course, the movements following the breath. One more. And down and up, scooping up energy from the earth, bringing it up, turning the hands over, slowly pushing the energy down, breathing naturally, and trapping some energy in the dantian as it you push down and dissipate the excess down to the floor. All right. So we call this the opening and closing breath, because we often do that after Qigong, each of the Qigong exercises, and also during the Tai Chi practice. Okay, starting from holding the energy ball, we are going to rotate the ball. We're holding it out front. We're going to rotate the one hand out to the side, just to the side, and look at the palm as the other hand rotates down and blocks down to the side. And then come back to center holding the ball. And then rotate the other hand up and over to the side, looking at the palm, the other hand down. Back holding the palm, so holding the ball. And just keep it going back and forth. And I apologize earlier, I forgot that there are some people with visual difficulties that, or visual impairments, and I didn't describe the first Qigong exercise, pushing out, pulling in, and reaching back. But we'll just continue back and forth, one side to the other, breathing in as we stretch to the left and to the right, breathing out as we come to center. Get a good stretch with your neck. And coming back to holding the ball, and we might let the ball expand out, breathe in to the shoulders, and push in, holding the ball about 18 inches apart in front of our chest, the fingers pointed up. All right. Second exercise is very similar to the other. We rotate one hand up above the head and stretch up, holding like we're holding a tray, and the other hand rotates down in the other direction, symmetrically pushing down next to the hip, all the way down. So it's kind of like a S shape. And just relax now, come back to center holding the ball, now go the other way. Rotating the palms away from each other, one going up and one going down. Stretch up and push down. This is called pushing up the heavens and pushing down on the earth. And back again, exhaling to the other side. Relax to the ball. Stretch. Relax to the ball. Stretch. Relax to the ball. Stretch. Relax, holding the ball. Good. Okay, now we're going to take the ball and we're going to rotate the ball around 180 degrees, turning to the left. All right, it's my right hand under my left hand, which is above near my face, and the lower hand is down on my lap. Palm, the fingers are pointing in opposite directions. Come back, rotate the ball back to the front, and then rotate it to the other side. So we are squishing blood in and out of our kidneys. She's good. Going back and forth. Breathing in as we stretch to the side. Turn. Back to center, to the other side. And, just follow me or go at your own pace. Right. And to the left. And back to center, holding the ball. And let's open and close. Open to the shoulder line. Push and close to 18 inches apart. And bring your hands down to your lap. And let's take a closing breath, sweeping the hands up, palms facing up, all the way up over the head. Turn the palms down and relax and push down to the dantian. So they call that pushing the chi down to the dantian. And then finally the hands to the side. Okay, now holding the ball again, back holding the ball, side to side. Extending one hand out, fingers pointing forward, rotating the elbow of the other hand back, that fingers pointing forward, pushing to the side, palms facing out, fingers forward. Rotate the back hand out around to the front, rotate the front hand around to the back, elbow pointing back, fingers pointing forward, palms facing out to the side, like you're pushing against a door. Rotate back to the center, to the other side, breathing in. And keep going one side to the other, slowly. Slowly rotating your head with your hands in the direction that you're moving. Maintaining the same rhythm without stopping. One side to the other, and turn and push forward and back to the other side. And one more, breathing in, push and breathing out, back to center, holding the ball, expand the ball in and out. Breathe in and breathe out. Hands down to your lap and relax for a second. Okay, bring the hands up. The elbows down, fingers pointing up in front of you. All right. Now open your hands, big sweep around the back and up back to that position. All right. And now bring the hand, the fingers, turn them down, push back, past the waist, back, fingers pointing back, and then out to that same position, around, palms facing, the palms facing in, like you're looking at your palms, the elbows together, and then all the way around and out and back, and then turn, push past the waist, going back and out, back to that same position. Looking at your palms, the elbows down, and then all the way out and around and up. Okay, and now let's do a closing breath, swooping down, lifting up over the head. Take a deep breath, push the palms down. Relax with the palms on your lap. Okay, now moving away a little bit so you can see what I'm doing, is make two fists, bring your fists back. So your elbows are jutting back and your fists are right up against your waist. All right, make sure your elbows are back as far as you can get them. All right, sitting up straight. We're going to punch out with one hand like we rotate when we punch. It's like a screwing motion where we twist so the fingers are pointing up at the side. And we're going to punch and twist the one hand out straight in front of you. At the same time, we kick out with the other leg. And now bring the leg and your fist back to the ready position. And now the other fist punches out straight and the other leg reaches up and kicks. And they come back down together. And now again, the other side, one. Breathe in, breathe out, relax, come back. Punch and kick, alternating hand and foot, and back. Punch and kick, breathing in and back. Nice and slow, relax, control all the movements. By doing it slow, we can really focus our minds on the movements. That will help us relax our minds, relax mentally. Back and forth at your own pace, nice and slow, kicking out as far as you can, as far as you feel comfortable. Make sure that you're punching, you're turning the fist over. When you bring it back in, the fingers are up. And when you punch out, the fingers rotate around 180 degrees. And now the knuckles are down, and as I bring it back, the knuckles are up. And let's take a closing breath and relax. Okay. I'm going to tilt the screen down. Let's work on our ankles. Put your, a little too much there. Put your toe down on one foot. Just relax the other one. And lift your heel. And now rotate back and forth on your toe, using your toe as a fulcrum. Slowly. Go as far as you can. And now put your foot down and go side to side. So those of you, and I guess that means most of you have been, now this is I think the 4th or 5th session. We're doing the same exercises, right, each time. And if you want to continue doing these exercises, I recommend that you get the poster from Paul Lamsite, which is the Tai Chi for Health Institute. Tai Chi for Health Institute Productions. And if you Google that, you'll get right to his site where you can order these posters. And all these exercises that I do in this class, now I'm going to the other toe now. Lift the heel, the toe down, and wiggle your ankle back and forth, and back and forth. And so you can put this poster up, it's large format, on your wall and in front of you and do these exercises. They're all Qigong exercises that are designed for this, this type of course. They're very gentle. And put the foot down and rock back and forth. Stretching the tendons. All right. And lastly, let's just hold our hands. Let's see, how can I explain this? Is thread your fingers through each other and push down, or hold your touch your fingers together. It doesn't matter. Your palms out, and just push down to your feet. All right. Put your feet straight out and stretch, and push down, and bend and stretch. Feet should be extended out, come down all the way, palms down, come up, sit up straight, push down, up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and one more. Down, all the way, hold it. Straighten your legs if you can. And come up again and relax. All right, so let's do a one of the 5 animal frolic exercises. And I said we were going to do, last week we did deer, which was this sort of motion, leaping through the woods. Same hand at the hands, one hand out front, one hand all the way back, pushing, rotating, and changing. Now, tiger is, we start the tiger a little differently. Instead of coming up and down with the hands, we're going to push to the side, just like that other exercise where we push to the side with the fingers pointing forward. So let's push to the left side, all right? Feet on the ground. And turn and push to the other side, just like that exercise we did. And now straighten your fingers out so they're pointing out, rotate back to center, and push straight down. The fingers pointing straight down like you're diving into a pool. And make a nice circle and come up. Palms in front of your chest. And now point those fingers down and swoop down again. And come up all the way. I have to adjust my screen. And reach back and stretch back as much as you can. Including your head. Stretch back as much as you can. It's like a yoga pose. It's, they call it, or it's kind of what dogs do when they stretch. I forgot the name for that. And then come down. And come down, bring your hands down to about your lap, and then turn them up and do a closing breath. And down. Good. All right. So let's try that again. We push to the other side now. I'm pushing to the right side. Both hands turned, pushing to the side. My right elbow straight back. My fingers are pointing forward, both fingers. And now rotating forward to the left side, pushing to the left. And now come forward, the fingers pointing forward, facing forward, and scoop down. You're grabbing prey is what you're doing. You're grabbing the prey and bringing it up to eat it. Sorry about that image. And then swoop down again. Now you can take a nap. All the way up and stretch. And stretch all the way back. Arch your back, fingers pointing all the way back, head back. And come down, palms coming down from that position to your lap. Turn them up and take a closing breath, scooping up the energy, breathing in and pushing down. Okay, tiger, push to the left. Straighten out forward, fingers pointing straight forward and slightly down, tilted down, push down, and come up. It's kind of a circle. Push down again, big circle, come all the way up, arms straight out, all the way back. Deep breath in, stretch, push back, 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 back. Relax, come back down, palms down to your thighs, and then turn them up. Breathe in and turn them over and down. And one more. Tiger, pushing the bushes to the side, to the right. Turning, pushing the bushes to the side, on the left. Bringing the palms forward, claws out, fingers pointing 45 degrees down. Reach down, scoop down, small circle, grab the prey, bring it up. Scoop down, release it. Scoop up, all the way back. Back, 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 back. Stretch back as far as you can. Take a deep breath in. Relax, come back down. Relax, palms come straight down to the lap. And scoop up some energy. Bring both palms up.
Thank you.
Overhead and down. Okay. So, any questions about that that qigong exercise? That was the tiger.
Hi, Ray. It's Elizabeth. I love that one. And I get the name. I loved your description at the end with the claws out.
Yeah.
Facing prey. That brought in the tiger energy big time for me. Just a question about the breathing. So when we are, I know you're saying take a big inhale up at the arc. You know, after we've brought our arms up over our head, we scooped and they're up, and then we've arched back. How is our breath going on that scooping up? Is that an exhale or inhale?
Well, let's see. When you're scooping, let's say you're scooping, you're stretching, right?
Okay.
And when you bring it up, you're kind of relaxing. So the scooping is a stretching, so you breathe in. And when you bring it up, you breathe out. And then you're scooping again, breathe in. And then keep it, hold that breath as you come back. And then as you bring your hands down, you relax.
Okay, this might sound very esoteric, but when you're doing that scoop up and you're breathing in, is it a sharp breath and then you're keeping that breath as you arch back, or are you breathing slowly in the entire movement?
Well, I'm not sure what the rules are exactly, because no one's ever broken it down for me. But I can only tell you the way it makes sense to me.
Okay.
You have to kind of use your body. Now, people have different breath capacities. And if you can't hold your breath that long, you can split it up into two. But what I do is on the second one where you're scooping down and then up again and all the way back. So here's what I do. I scoop down and I take a breath in. And as I come up, I'm still stretching. So I want to hold that breath, right? I'm stretching. Whereas in the first scoop, you're stretching down and coming up and relaxing, see? But on the second, you're stretching down and coming up and you're still stretched out, stretching back. So I would hold my breath. Now, you can do it any way you want. There's no real hard and fast. There are some movements where it's difficult to tell where it's a stretch or whether it's relaxation. Not particularly for this one. So at the beginning, you push to the side. So that's a stretch. I'd breathe in. And then I'd breathe out as I come forward, and then I'd breathe in again to the other side. And then as I come forward, I have to exhale as I come forward, and then breathe in as I push down. And so you have to decide how are you going to breathe, and you would try to breathe when you stretch, you try to breathe in, and when you relax, you try to breathe out. But sometimes it's difficult to separate the movements because the movements are complex. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I'm coming from a yoga background, so I'm retraining the breathing with the Tai Chi. So that's why I'm asking some questions about that. But
Yeah,
that helped a lot to say with the stretch.
yeah. I think
A tendency to make it a long breath through the entire movement, and if I just wasn't sure if that's the same.
yeah. Sometimes it just doesn't make sense to take 2 breaths, even though there's a stretch and relaxation. So you take one and then go on to the next movement. But
Oh,
what
that's very helpful. That the stretch is the inhale.
good, it's right. That's because these movements are very natural. And if you're stretching up, try to breathe out when you stretch up. You just feel like you're choking. So if you stretch up and you hold that breath, it's more natural than breathing out because now your lungs are expanded, right? Your muscles are expanded. If you try to breathe out, you're going against your physiology, right? So in anatomy.
Oh yeah, that's great.
So use your yoga background.
Thank you. So one last question, if you don't mind. So also with that arc, you just reminded me as you go back and you're stretching back far, how is the head? Are you also, if possible, are we trying to stretch the neck back as well? Or is
Yeah,
it
what we do is we want to take advantage of in these stretches of stretching everything we can that makes sense. And so as you're stretching back, you want to stretch your head back too, as far as you can, because then you get all the muscles and tendons in your neck as well. So we try to get as much out of these qigong as we can when we're doing these exercises, when we're doing the stretching. Yeah, yeah. The answer is yeah. Stretch back, stretch your head back as well. All right. Well, let's move on. I'm just going to check the time. All right. So let's say we got 20 minutes. So I want to get into our Tai Chi. All right. So we want to really get as much practice as we can. All right. So reviewing. Let's start with just reviewing. We do the commencement, hands on our lap, bringing the hands up, fingers pointing down, hands out straight, breathing in. Bring the ball, like we're holding the ball, and then we bring the ball in, and we open and close. Commencement. And then we rotate the hands down a little bit and push out and up, holding the ball, fingers pointing straight out, and bring the ball in again and open and close. All right, let's try that again. Hands at our side or on our laps, bring the hands up slowly, breathing in. Bring the ball in and down and push out. Arms straight out, fingers pointing out. Bring the ball in to the chest. Breathe in and breathe out as we open and close. Turning the palms out, single whip, push out. If we want, we can lean a little to the right as we do our single whip. We push out and extend our hands like we're opening a set of curtains. And we can pull back to the left as we pull the right hand down in a nice arc, ending up underneath the left elbow. And we're ready for our cloud hands. As we switch the hands now up and down, now my right hand is up near my eyes, my left hand is down near my waist. My palm is facing out. At this point, the fingers of my lower hand are facing out too, straight out, though, and parallel to the ground. And now as I rotate my waist, I'm pulling both hands together across. Top hand around the eye level, palm facing out. Lower hand starts to rotate to the right where the palm, where the fingers are pointing to the right now. And I'm at the right shoulder line. I switch up and down, maintaining the same distance apart and the same vertical aspect. And I start turning to the left as I turn both hands together, the right hand palm facing out. The left fingers are starting to point to the left as they pull across to the left. And at the middle, my palm is pointing down. My lower palm pointing out with the fingers to the left. My upper palm is facing out with the fingers pointing out. And I pull to the other side. All right, and let's do one more switch and turning to the right. Okay, and now I'm going to introduce the next move. The next move is we're going to turn, now my lower palm is at near my down, my lower palm of course is down, the fingers pointing to my right. I'm going to turn that over, just flip it right over. And now I'm going to extend it and bring it up in an arc, up across my chest to the other side. And now I'm going to bring my right hand across to a point where I'm holding a ball. And so we're going from this position where we moved across, right, to the right side. And my upper hand is up, palm out. My lower hand is palm down, fingers pointing to the outside. In this case, the right side. Rotate the lower palm up. And now rotate the arm up with the palm all the way up past your face. And turn the palm so now that the palms are facing each other. So I like to call this scooping up water out of a bucket. And so I just turn that palm, which is palm down, the lower palm. As I sweep across to the right, I add, just before I reach the right side, I'm ready, I turn that palm up, like I'm scooping up water, bringing the water up out of the bucket, and then turning the palm, so now the left palm is facing the right palm, holding a ball. So here I am, back to the old holding the ball motif. And I open and close again. All right? So the next step, after you do your cloud hands, is to bring that hand up opposite, the lower hand up opposite the right to a ball position and open and close. So open and close is the next step. And we already know how to do open and close. All right? So let's try it again.
Just a quick question. Is that open and close? What level is the ball at? Is it in our midriff, or how high are our hands holding the ball?
My fingertips are about shoulder height.
Oh, good. Thank you.
In closing, I'm opening and closing in front of my chest. Because I am focused on protecting my chest at this point. All right. And all the other movements emanate from this. So this open and close in the Sun style is something you don't see in other styles. And it's really not, it's not functional, really. It doesn't, I can't think of a martial equivalent for it. So what it is, in my mind, it's a way of recentering our chi before we go on to the next move. That's why I like this style, because it gives you a chance to recenter and reflect. All right, so if we start from the beginning, and we're going to add that next move, open and close, we bring the hands at the side, we relax, we come up, straight out, like Frankenstein holding a basketball. Frankenstein brings the basketball in and down a little bit, and then pushes the ball out and brings the ball in and opens and closes. And single whip, turning the hands palm out, push out, extend. Setting up for cloud hands, bringing the right palm down in an arc, lining it up under the left palm near the hip or lap, and we switch vertically up and down, and we turn the palms around the waist to the right, and switch up and down, maintaining the vertical distance that we established at the beginning, and move to the left, turning and switch, and the waist is doing all the work here, right? Hands are following the waist. Now get to the other side, and it doesn't really matter which side. We could do one more and turn to the, in this case, the left. It's still the same principle. I take that lower hand, whichever it is, my left hand or right hand, I flip it over gently, palm facing up, and I scoop up like maybe holding an apple. And I bring the apple up past the upper palm and out across my face in an arc. It's a perfect arc over to the right. Open up that palm. So now the palms are facing each other. Bringing the palms out a little bit to open and close. Good. All right. So now, guess what we're going to do? Is we have to make everything symmetrical. So far we did a single whip to actually one side because we came up to the left. That's part of the single whip. And then we did a cloud hands to the right. Well, we've got to balance everything out. We've got to do an accounting here in Tai Chi. This is called Tai Chi accounting. And we're going to do the same movements to the left, which is going to make it easy for you, I hope, because you already know how to do it. And so what I mean by that is, we ended up on the right side. Right? We did cloud hands to the right, and we scooped up the water, right? And we scooped up with the lower hand to an open and close, all right? Now we're going to do cloud hands to the left. And to set up for that, we have to do a single whip to set up for that. All right, so you'll see how this works. So we do cloud hands to the right. We're over at the right hand side, at the right shoulder line. Right hand up, palm out, left hand down, palm down. At the waist, or at the lap. All right. We know already how to do this. We turn the palm over, we turn it up, we bring it over to the left. Palms facing each other, we do open and close. Now let's do another single whip. Put the hands facing out, push out, and extend. And now we're going to bring the left hand down underneath the right elbow. The opposite of what we did before. Before we brought, after the single whip to the left, we brought the right hand down under the left elbow. Now we're going to bring the right palm, which is up, down in an arc past the belly button here to the lap underneath the right elbow. At this point, my fingers and the lower hand are pointing out to the right. And I'm going to switch, just like we did before, up and down. And now my left hand is up, the palm facing out. My right hand is down, palm facing down. And let's turn to the left this time, before we turn to the right. We turn both hands to the left, together, around the waist, to the left side. Now my fingers in my lower hand are now pointing out to the left, palm down. Fingers on the upper hand are palm out, fingers pointing up at my eye height. or nose height. I'm going to switch up and down, just like before. Now my left hand is up, my right hand is down. I'm going to turn to the right again. Both hands turn to the right. Now you can do this as many times as you want. Switch. Turn to the left. Switch. Turn to the right. Switch. Turn to the left. Now at this time I want to end up on the left to be symmetrical, because last time I ended up on the right. So what am I going to do? The same thing I did before on the other side. This time taking my right palm, which is facing down, fingers pointing to the left, I'm just going to rotate the palm up. Now my right hand is still up, my left hand is still up there with the fingers pointing up and my palm facing out. And I'm going to scoop up, like I'm holding an apple or scooping up water, up past that upper hand, and then rotate it up past my face to the right, and turn the left hand. So now the palms are facing each other like I'm holding a big beach ball. I'm going to push in and push out, open and close. And now at this point, I'm going to pretend that it's the end of my set. And to end the set at any point before the real end, which comes at the end of the course, I'm going to bring my hands out, point my hands, palms facing out, push out and down and relax, pushing down, palms facing down, pushing down, pushing the chi down to the dan chin, ending with my palms on my lap, relaxed, totally relaxed. So that's called the ending, Tai Chi ending, just like, and it's the opposite of the commencement in a way. All right, so you've learned a lot today. You learned actually more than I wanted to teach you. But the next move after the cloud hands to the right was just open and close. But I took this opportunity to do open and close and single whip, and then cloud hands the other way. So we've really done a lot. And so the next session, I'm not going to teach a new movement. In the following session, I may not teach a new movement. I may just go over the same thing, the same moves that we've learned so far up to this point, so that you really, really get it, okay? So that you're really comfortable with it before we go on and do the next move. Maybe I can get some feedback from you guys on, how do you feel about this? Do you feel really comfortable with it? Do you feel like you might want to move on the next time, or just stick with what we know and practice?
This is Patty. I would like for us to practice. Practice sounds good for, the next two sessions. To me, that sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
Sounds good to me also. This is Nancy.
Okay. Let's see. I'm trying to get to group view, and I can't seem to be able to do it. Let's see. I am not very good with this, and I should be a lot better with it.
Right-hand corner, it should say something like speaker view or gallery or full screen.
Oh, yeah. I have to press that. It doesn't, but I'm there. So, yeah, I'm just checking in. I like to check in and see. Oh, I like to see Ludi smile. Okay.
Hello.
There's Nancy, Amanda. Ania, I don't see Ania. Do you want to turn your video on if you want? And George, I don't see you either.
Ralph, I saw up at the top that Barbara Ruth Barbara Ruth is in class that she wants to move on.
Okay, good. All right, so that's good. We won't waste any more time with that. So let's just go ahead and so we've got one person that wants to move on, and how many people that want to stick and practice what we already know?
Yes.
Practice.
Me practice one time would be good. So I'm in the
Yeah.
middle.
Let's just play it by ear. Okay, so people that are maybe struggling with this a little bit, or for whatever reason are having a little difficulty, you know, you're spending a lot of time on this of your valuable time and working on this. So it really pays. I think it really it's you know, pound. What is it?
Pound of prevention is worth an ounce of cure.
Oh, it's something like that. It's penny wise, pound foolish. Yeah, that's it. I recommend that you go ahead and spend $20 and get the video, because if you just watch that video, he's doing the same thing I'm doing, and you know, then you won't get left behind. Okay, but so you know, we can't please everybody, but we're going to try to please most people and do the best we can. You know, just go do the best we can. I'll leave it at that. All right, so let's see. We have enough time, 5 minutes to do it. At least one or maybe two more times. All right.
I'm sorry. What was the name of that last movement we did?
Well, we did. They're not
With the arms,
movement.
palms out.
Well, we did open and close, and then we did in Tai Chi.
There's one movement we did where we went across with our palm out, the one palm facing out. It wasn't passing clouds. It was the other one.
Well, it's cloud hands, single whip, open and close.
Oh,
That's
it's just a single whip, maybe.
yeah, single whip.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Is pushing out, turning the palms out, pushing out just a little bit, not much. It's it's a compound movement of pushing out and extending. And it's just like you reach out to open up curtains. You reach out, grab the curtains, and open them up. And you should end up with your hands, facing palm out around your height of your head. And your hand should look like a swallow. You see my hands? For those of you who can see me.
The W, is that also W? Okay.
All right, so here we go.
I just need to know the name, but that's called the single whip?
It's called single whip.
Okay, so when you say single whip, I'll know what that is. Okay, great, perfect, thank you.
Did I explain why it's called single whip?
No.
I thought I did when I introduced it. If I didn't,
There's just so much that we were thinking of at that time.
what it is, it's an old man or woman carrying on their shoulders a stick, a bamboo stick. It's very, very stiff. You know, in the Far East, that's called a whip. And hanging from that whip on the sides are some heavy baskets. All right. And normally you would carry these baskets, you'd balance the beam with two hands like this. All right. And that's called and so that looks like the single whip, right? It's because the thing is on your shoulders, right? The stick is resting on the back of your shoulders, on your back, and your hands are up here holding it. And if you go online, you watch this, you'll see people carrying it, and they're kind of bouncing up and down like this, right, as they're carrying it. So that looks like, now why do they call it a single whip? It's because an old man or an old woman has to use a cane. And so they only hold the whip with one hand. And so they hold the cane out like this. So you hold the cane like this. The cane has a ball on the top. And in the typical Yang style, which is a different style, when you do the single whip, this is what it looks like. They do this yin-yang thing and then watch. And so that's what the single whip looks like in Yang style. One hand holding like a cane, the other out like this. So that's why it's called a single whip, because The style we're learning now is a new style. It only came on the scene around the turn of the 20th century.
Oh.
Whereas the yang style is I don't
Ancient.
know, 200 years old. So single whip because you're using one hand and not the other. All right. And so, but we do it this way. So it's not really a single whip, it's kind of a double whip, but we call it the single whip. Is that clear?
Very clear. Thank you.
A little bit of Tai Chi history. Most people don't know that. I'm a kind of I kind of like stuff like that
I
because
do too. I love it. And it helps with the movement too.
yeah. All right, but don't do it this way. All right, so the single whip in yang style is done this way. And then there's another style, Kwang Ping Yang, it's actually done this way. And then some styles are done this way or this way. So there's different themes. They all work fine. I like this. I mean, if this has a purpose. Okay, what this is somebody strikes me from the left. It's hard to see. Coming in like this. I'm going to step aside, and I'm going to take my hand and form it's called a bird's beak. All right. I'm going to take my hand and form a bird's beak, and I'm going to block to the side and catch that person's wrist right here on the croc. There's a little notch here. So I'm going to grab it. I'm going to push it to the side like this, and I'm going to reach out and strike the head. So it's pushing aside and doing this. Well, we do it this way. It's the same way. We're just striking out, blocking the punch, and then reaching across. And actually, I'm teaching you the single whip symmetrical. So it's symmetrical like this, but it's not really symmetrical. I just don't want to add any complexity to it. It's really more like this. And that's the way you would use it, right? If you're pushing a hand aside with this hand, you wouldn't go all the way this way. You just push it aside. But you want to extend this hand as far as you can so that you can reach out and hit the other person in the face. All right, so it's kind of symmetric. It's not symmetrical. It's more this way, and then going the other way, it's more this way, and leaning like this. But I don't want to make it complicated. And if you do it like this, it's fine. There's so much going on here. It's too much to remember to do this and this, that kind of thing. We'll get into that later. If we extend this course and go on to learn, there's actually 31 movements. And, we can talk about that with Sarah Dawn, about having an advanced class maybe, and maybe another beginning class, where I can teach you more movements and I can tell you more detail and reconstruct the movements to be more in line with the way they're really, really done. Does that make sense? So it's something we want to think about, having an advanced class where we can refine things a little bit. All right. So let's get in another one before we end. All right. So here we go. Relax. Sit up straight. I like to say stand up straight, but when we're not standing, sit up straight. Tuck your chin in. Raise your crown. Touch the tip of your tongue to the top of your roof of your mouth. Breathe through your mouth. Relax your shoulders. Bring your hands up, straight out. Fingers dangling down. Bring the hands in and down to the waist and push out. And breathe, come in. Breathe naturally, however you want, and open and close. Commencement, open and close. Turn the hands out. Push out. Extend, single whip. All right. Bring the right hand and right palm, arm down. Oh, down over underneath the left elbow. Put your hands up and down. Maintaining that vertical distance apart. Turning at the waist, bring both hands over to the right side at the right shoulder line. Switch the hands up and down. Turn to the left. Switch the hands up and down. Turn to the right. Now we want to hand up on the right side. This is a cloud hands going right. At this point, turn the lower hand palm facing up, bring it up in an arc, pass the upper hand over to the left. Now the hands are facing each other, holding a ball. Gently open, breathe in and close and breathe out. All right. Let's do another single whip. Single whip out. All right. Now bring the left hand down underneath the right elbow. Okay. The opposite of before, but it's the same movement. It's just a mirror image. And now we switch the hands up and down, just like we did before. Now we're going to do with the cloud hands, moving to the left, hands together, vertically aligned, switch. Turn to the right. Switch. Now I'm looking at you. I want to see what you're doing, but you really want to space out here and look at your hands. Look at the top hand. Look right through those fingers. You'll get a different feeling. All of a sudden it's like, wow, you know, a spaced out kind of feeling. Spaced out, but you're mentally, I'm just keep turning to the left now. Mentally, you're really focused on the movements, but you're totally aware of what's going on. Otherwise, you're just not getting, you know, you're just not switch, turn to the left. You're just not getting hooked. You're not getting tracked mentally. So you can, your mind is able to change and focus on whatever you want. Now I'm over to the right again. And that's where I want to be. Okay. I think this is we did cloud hands right? No, see, I've lost count. I think we did cloud hands right. Now we're going to do cloud hands left. We come over to the left. We turn the lower hand, which is the right hand, up, scooping up water or picking up an apple, rotate it around, facing the left hand, and open and close. Okay, so we've done 2 single whips, one to the right, one to the left, and 2 cloud hands, one to the right, one to the left. We end up open and close. And then we just simply turn our hands facing out and drop the palms down to the lap. Nice and slow. Looking straight out. Relax, relaxing the shoulders. And then we can end. And so this is a good time to end. The more we do it, the easier it will become, and the more you'll enjoy it, I think. Okay, any questions before we end?
I just
Elizabeth?
want to give a little feedback that made a huge difference for me. I don't know about the others, but you explaining the whip.
Yeah.
You probably, I'm sure you did. I recognized a little bit of it, so I'm sure you did in the very beginning, but I think there was just so much going on with learning the movement.